Hi, welcome to the tutorial for the musical adventure. Now, this free version of the musical adventure contains the tutorial chapter and the first chapter of the game. Now, the game consists of different tasks that the student has to complete, or different puzzles that he has to solve, all dealing with musical rhythm and the rhythmic values and the length of notes, etc. Also, the different types of notes: whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes, and as well as rests, all the rests. And in the first chapter, basically the student will have to identify by ear certain two-beat elements, rhythmic two-beat elements, made up of the rhythmic figures that I just mentioned. So first thing you have to do is run the virtual boot camp, which will teach the student about the movement, how to move in this type of game. So it's very simple. Basically, on this level there's nothing musical to do really. It's just a matter of learning how to control your player, and there's some different sectors. As you can see, it's a three-dimensional world, and the player moves freely in this world. There are some doors and obstacles that will only open once the player completes certain tasks. Now, first of all, the first task here would be to learn the long distance jumps. Press the Shift and W keys to run, and press the space bar to jump. So the student lines himself up and has to jump over this series of 3 pits. Now, if he falls in the pit, there's no danger. He won't lose a life. It's just a training level, as I said. So we try this and run and jump 3 times, and we've accomplished that first task. Continue. And as you can tell, the arrow keys indicate where to go. Now, these jumps are a little bit harder because it's a double-sized pit. It's twice the length of the other ones, twice the width of the other ones actually. And so we take a long run back here. I press Shift and W and I jump, and then I jump again. Oh, I missed that one. Okay, so now if you fall into a pit, there's no danger because you really can't get hurt at this level. Well, you could get hurt, but I mean, you really have to try very hard. And so basically, once we're inside the pit, it tells us something else that we need to know in order to play the game properly: how to crouch and walk. So crouching is the C key, and W moves forward. And of course, once we're in these air ducts, these chutes, we can easily follow the directions to get out. The arrows show us how to get out. So as I said, this is just a training level, so the students don't become overwhelmed once they try and play the actual game. Okay, now once we've made it across these double pits, we reach the other end here, and this opens the door. Now, the reason I haven't shown it on the video, jumping these pits, it's not because I had to cheat, but simply because the program that captures the movie running with the 3D game at the same time is too much for the computer to handle, and the lag was causing the jumps to be inaccurate. So that's the only reason. And so I'm continuing here. And now, as you can tell, this new door has opened, and beyond this door we have an area where we can recharge our energy. In case we took any damage from falls or other stuff, we would stand on this star and our total energy on the top left side of the screen would be recharged back up to 500. Now, the reason for that is that in this level you could actually take damage in this part of the training module, because you have to learn how to climb these ledges. And if accidentally, when you reach the top ledge, you miscalculate your jump, you will fall off the ledge and take a small amount of damage. So here we go. Let's try this. Jump up here. Now you see, this explains to us actually: walk forward and press the space bar to jump onto a ledge, and that's what I've just done. Walk and jump. And then do it for the next ledge. Walk and jump, and walk and jump here. And these ledges are pretty simple to navigate. This one is a little more difficult because it's a little further, so we have to take a running walk and jump. Well, actually, a running jump. There we go. And again, another running jump. And these are closer, so we can just do walking jump. And another walking jump. And one more. So here we go. Final one. There we go. Now we've reached the end of the training level. I'm not going to go into that bright light because it would reveal the access code to chapter 1, and I want you to find it on your own. Okay, now we're in chapter 1 of the game, and in chapter 1, click on begin the adventure. Now there's an introductory video that starts. We can skip the introductory video by pressing the spacebar. And here we are at the entrance of chapter 1, outside this pyramid. Now, as you can see from the bottom of the screen, there are directions that tell us what to do exactly, how to move our character around, and you'll also find the same instructions in the adventurer's manual that is archived along with this program on the file you downloaded. So W to move forward, S to move back, A to move left, and D to move right. And please use the direction keys indicated and not the arrow keys, because if you use the arrow keys, you're going to get some strange behavior with some of the hint boxes that will not disappear properly. So, okay, we can look around. I'm sorry for making you dizzy. And we walk up to the Guardian, obviously, and the Guardian asks us a question. Now, based on our answers, obviously, yes, we want to enter the pyramid. We want to enter the temple here, and we have to give the correct answer, which is a very simple question. How many quarter notes make a whole note? This is basic musical knowledge that we cover in class. So if you don't know the answer for this, well, then you have to review your basic rhythm. And I enter the answer, and once I've entered my answer, I can now proceed. Now once I proceed, I am in the loading level here, which just tells me that it's loading the next level of the game, and here I am in the entrance inside the pyramid, which contains the portals to all the chapters in the game. Now again, another hint box appeared telling us that to zoom an object, we just press the right mouse key, the right mouse button. So this is basically a map that we're holding, but you see if I hold it this way, I risk falling into some pit or running into some kind of a trap. So I want to hold it in this manner. Now I can continue moving here, and to put away an item, you see as I get an instruction, I should pay attention to what it says. Press the 0 key, the 0 number key, to put away an item that is in your hand. So I press the 0 and the item is put away, see? And of course in here right now there are no portals in any of these alcoves except the one in the back of this charming, wonderful lady here. And again another hint pops up telling us how to get that map that we had earlier back into our hand, and I press the 1 on the keyboard and there's the map again. And if I want to get rid of it, I press the 0 again and it's going to go away. Now, sorry, 1 and 0. Sometimes it might not register that you press the command, so it might insist that you press it before it moves. So that's a little tiny bug that I have to fix eventually. And when you walk up to this lady, she will give you a big speech, and basically the big speech simply tells you what you're supposed to do and what you're looking for, and you can do this on your own. When you finish reading her big speech, she's going to get away and you can walk into the portal. And now you will enter the first world, which is chapter 1 of this game. Before you enter any worlds, I forgot to mention this, well, this is simply a saving level. You see, when you walk into this portal, it saves your checkpoint. That means that if you die in the level, if you lose a life, if you lose all your lives, and you can always restart from where you checked in. So this short little passage is just a save game point for you to restart from next time you play the game. Now we are entering chapter 1, and in chapter 1, we put the map away, we are in a medieval village, the village lost in time. And so this little medieval village, in order to move, you see the instructions tell us that we have to press the enter key. So if we press the enter key, then we're allowed to move again. Otherwise we wouldn't have been allowed to move. Now there are a lot of characters here that you will get to speak to, but there are these glowing pieces of paper on the floor. And why are they glowing? Well, because I want you to see them, because when you pick them up, they give you important hints that you have to write into your adventurer's manual. So you see the hint, and the hint has a key associated to it, and when you picked it up you heard a sound. and it says at the bottom here, press J to replay this element. If I press J, I hear the element in question, which is in this case a quarter note. So I hear a quarter note being played, and it tells me that the code letter that I must use for this is the letter K. I must write that down in my adventurer's manual, because what will happen is once I collect all these clues, I will see the clues are scattered all over the place basically. Add a word of advice, a word of warning: do not attack the guards with objects or things, because they will destroy you. So you do not have to fight anything in the game, and if you have violent tendencies, the game will be cut short. So this is the portal to get into the labyrinth, which is below the medieval city, and you wish to enter into the labyrinth. Enter the code letter for each rhythmic element, press enter to begin. Now I hear a rhythmic element, and obviously I don't know the code letter for this rhythmic element in question in particular, because I haven't picked up all my clues. So if I enter K, which is the only one that I actually have, wrong, you're not ready to enter, and I lose a big chunk of my life, as you've noticed. So we're not going to try that again until we find all the elements. Okay, now assuming you find all the clues and you enter them correctly, you will be teleported to the labyrinth beneath the medieval city, medieval town, I'm sorry, and so you would end up right here. And then once you approach these doors, they will open and you will get your first hint of what you're supposed to do here. One artifact is located inside the labyrinth. You must unlock the gates to get to it by identifying 2-beat rhythms. Beware of mistakes, as they will cost you your energy. So once we've read this, we press enter, and we can proceed down this hallway, and as we can see, there are bars blocking our path. And this level contains this type of puzzle where you have blocked gates and you have these skulls on the wall. Now once you approach the skull, you hear a rhythm. Now I have to put the sound back on my computer so I can hear it. Now I'll have it play again by pressing the J key. Okay, so I heard quarter note, and I can replay it by pressing the J key again. So the second beat would be 2/8 notes. Once I get it right, the gate opens and I can proceed. And here I will find some healing flasks or healing mugs, if you will. And right now I have no use for them since my energy is at full, but trust me, you'll need them soon. And we can move down the other hallway, as you can see, and again there will be another puzzle on the wall here. Now if I approach this puzzle, and I can have it replayed again by pressing the J key. So this obviously was 2/8 and a quarter. Now let's say I make a mistake. I enter a quarter as the first note, which is the wrong rhythm. So once it's wrong, well then I have no choice but to press J to rehear it if I want to play it again. So now I realize that I was wrong and I press enter to continue, and when I press enter I take some damage. But luckily that I have my healing flasks right here. So I can just walk up to them and I automatically drink one. And now I'm back to 500. And so on. Now, this level is based on this type of puzzle, as I've just mentioned. So once you answer the puzzles correctly, once you identify the rhythms correctly, the gates will open and you will get closer and closer to your goal, which is the first pyramid of rhythm, which you have to collect at the end of this first chapter. Now there are many different puzzles also on this level, along with pits that you have to jump over and spike traps that you have to maneuver around or underneath of. But I'll let you discover that on your own, because I think you have a good basic understanding of what you're supposed to do and how the game works. Now the movement, simply the way I'm turning my head around this way, is just with the mouse. I'm moving my mouse right and left, as you can see. That's the That's the way to control the actual turning of your head. And movement is with the keys, as I mentioned earlier, WASD. I hope this helps you. I hope you have a good time. I hope you have fun playing this musical adventure. And this is just the first chapter of 3. And this is my little Halloween present to you. You can have this first chapter for free.